Welcome to the Blessors of Israel podcast. I'm Matthew Dodd, Executive Director of Blessors of Israel. In studio today with Pastor Rich Jones, who is the founder and chairman of Blessors of Israel. Blessing to be with you today, Pastor Rich.
Thank you.
One of the things we want to talk about is a development that's been happening for quite some time now, but recently has come on the grid in regards to the southern border in the United States.
Well, and I think the reason it's coming into focus again is because the question that I think is now looming when we look at what has happened in Israel with the infiltration of these terrorists from Gaza, that the damage that was done was unprecedented, number one, shocking, number two, savage, number three. But the question then is, are we vulnerable to something like that? That brings up the question.
And in response to that, we've had government officials say, yes, we are vulnerable to this, even recently. And so reports have been coming out stating just this issue, that there is a concern about the evil actors that are coming through our southern border that make the United States vulnerable.
Well, the FBI just put out a bulletin very recently, really to the whole nation, saying, be vigilant, watch carefully, we are in danger.
I've heard it said there's at least maybe 10 terror cells within the United States right now that are known terror cells. Sleeper cells.
And, but the danger is growing daily because of course the southern border, everybody knows, is quite porous. And so we are being infiltrated. Can I just state it boldly? We are being infiltrated. Now, are they doing what Hamas did? No, they're in a sleeper mode. And is the potential there that the United States could be attacked in a similar way? Absolutely. And I think that clearly is why the FBI put out that bulletin. But I don't believe that people are recognizing the significance of this danger. But what's happened in Israel ought to put us on the alert.
Well,
go ahead.
For instance, Border Patrol Chief Jason Owens, he said that on average this year, agents have arrested more than 47 people a day with serious criminal histories.
Okay, those are criminal backgrounds.
Yes. And then on top of that, fiscal year 2023, there were 12,267 criminal non-citizen encounters compared to 12,028 in fiscal year 22, 10,763 in fiscal year 21, and then get this, fiscal year 2020, only 2,438. So we've seen a marked increase in these types of encounters with those who have a known criminal background.
They're on the watch list, crime watch list.
And then you have a terror watch list encounters, and that also has risen. So fiscal year 2020.
But before we do that, look at what you were just stating there. You go back just 3 years.
Exactly.
And the increase has gone from, let's say, average 7,000. These are like serious criminals on the criminal watch list to upwards now of 12,000 plus currently. That is such an escalation of great concern. We need to be very much on the alert. But those are on the criminal watch list. But what about the terror watch list?
The terror watch list, fiscal year 2020, only 3.
2020, there were 3 on the terror watch
then
list.
Then it bumped to 16 in 2021,
all right.
98 2022, and fiscal year 2023, 172.
So you went from 3 to 172 on the terror watch list. So in other words, these are not coming from Mexico.
No, these are coming from Iran, Syria, Lebanon.
Right.
These are known terrorist locations that these are coming from.
But I think it's important to point out that these are the ones that were apprehended. The question then is obvious, well, what about those that weren't?
Exactly right. And so this is of great, great concern for us here in the United States.
Absolutely.
Because it's also known that in South America, there's a heavy influence from Hamas and Hezbollah there as well.
And so the danger, again, that's why the FBI put out this bulletin. I think here's what I want to be careful. I don't want to be fearmongers, right? I don't want to just be sounding a false alarm. No, the United States government itself is calling out this danger. And therefore, I believe that it's incumbent upon Christians to understand the times that we're living. The times are getting more and more dangerous. We are vulnerable here to experience the terror that Israel is currently going through today.
Well, and we must remember that Israel is considered the little Satan.
Right.
And the United States is considered the
big
great Satan.
Now,
right?
you are, of course, referring to the Hamas declarations.
And Iran.
In Iran. And so, the great Satan, United States, must be taken down along with Israel itself, of course. And now we are seeing, of course, Iran that is doing direct attacks on U.S. Soldiers, military. Well, but I want to talk about that, of course, in another podcast. But my point is, this is not, in any sense, a false alarm. This is a real and present danger.
So as Christians who are concerned, what other recommendations do you have?
Well, of course, watch, right? Be diligent. We need to be aware that what happened in Israel was they were going about their business, right? They had a music concert. They were just going about their daily lives. I mean, there were birthday parties and balloons and gifts and dinners, and everything was normal until it wasn't. And I think that we have to recognize that that is very much possible today. The 9/11 scenario was dramatic, but what could be unleashed could even be more so when that is brought about where the sleeper cells awaken. What should Christians do? Number one, be on the alert. Number two, don't be afraid. But, of course, be in prayer, be right. We need to get right with God. Tell you what, if revival doesn't come out of something like that, there's something wrong spiritually.
I would agree with you. I'd also say one more thing. We are blessed to live in a country where we can have representative government officials that we can contact and say, this is where we stand. We are concerned. And it is the duty of the government to protect its citizens.
Well, of course, exactly right. And yet, governments fail. Israel, that government failed. Let's be blunt about that, right? They missed the signs that were right before their eyes. And we want to be diligent that we do not have that happen here. So we call out our government and say, look, this is a real and present danger. Now, I believe they are very much aware of it because it was the FBI who put out that alert.
Mayorkas 4 months ago, under oath, when questioned about these sleeper cells, these terrorist sleeper cells, said, we know that they're here, but we don't know where they're at.
Of course, right? But what is being done then to prevent this? We are seeing such a huge number of terror watch lists, infiltrators. What is being done? That is the concern. That is the alarm.
Couldn't agree more. Well, I know we're not going to solve this issue today, but it is something I think we need to be very concerned about, prayerful about, alert about.
Right. Stand on on the alert. Watch for the signs of the times. Be diligent, and frankly, be in revival.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's been a blessing to spend this time with you, and so grateful that you would join us as well. We'd like to encourage you to visit our website. It's blessors.org. That's blessors with an ORS.org. There you'll find wonderful information that we post, articles that give you a biblical perspective about what happens regarding Israel and the Middle East. You'll also see curated articles from other sources so that you can be fully informed about what is transforming our world right before our very eyes. We also encourage you to visit our YouTube and our Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Rumble channels. Subscribe to those. Visit us and also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Getter. And we also covet your prayers and your financial support as we launch this new ministry. And please remember, as we close the broadcast today, that those who bless Israel will be blessed. Shalom, shalom.